The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
F&M leader Michael Pintard takes off the gloves and is swinging at defected F&M MP Aram Lewis. Pintard says that Lewis should get ready for a cut hip in the upcoming general election. The F&M tough out the gate after their Grand Bahama rally tonight. We talk more about that. Also tonight, F&M Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands is here. Is the opposition doing enough to hold the government accountable with all its infighting and other distractions? We asked Dr. Sands about that tonight. And also tonight, does he have his eyes set on the chairman position in the PLP? Well, the streets are talking. Latrae Rahming, Communications Director in the Office of the Prime Minister, is also here tonight. We will ask Rahming just who is responsible for the major faux pas that have suggested that a tighter hand is needed in the Office of the Prime Minister. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. Well, my guest at the top of tonight's show, F&M Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands, is here. Dr. Sands, good evening to you. It's good to have you here. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines.
It really is a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. I think it's good to have you here. It's good. I know that you are anxious to talk about those contracts that I mentioned a moment ago and how the government is handling them in particular. We'll get to that in a moment. But first, let's just jump into some F&M business. Now, F&M leader Michael Pintard sounded quite tough in Grand Bahama on a rally stage a few nights ago. It's a posture that boosts his image. Now, I want to ask you, Dr. Sands, truly, how stinging was it for the party when Aram Lewis suddenly resigned from the F&M, given that the party has been significantly wounded from all the infighting as it prepares to launch its election campaign?
Well, first of all, let me say thank you to Mr. Lewis for the service provided to the country and to the Free National Movement. But quite frankly, he made our job a little bit easier because we were not minded to offer him a nomination. And so I think he knew that, and he decided that he would leave, and we wish him well.
Well, he did say that, but I did interview him, in fact, hours after he made the announcement in the House of Assembly. But is the party then looking to sort of examine why he felt certain ways that he did? He felt as though he served well. A number of his constituents spoke out on his behalf and says, yes, he was a hardworking member of Parliament who served well under the Free National Movement in that seat. Are you looking to see maybe what could be done differently for the next individual or perhaps any other constituency? Because this is a party that obviously needs to get its ducks in a row as it looks towards the general election.
Well, I think this is all about getting our ducks in a row. The Bahamian people have spoken to us. They've spoken to our leader, Michael Pintard, to our deputy leader, Shannon Cartwright, to me, and to the entire leadership of the Free National Movement. They want to see different. They expect us to do different. They want us to usher in real, substantive change for the people of this Bahamas. And what that means is, having listened to them now, that we cannot do business as usual. And so if you look at the changes that are happening in the Free National Movement, they are in response to the public demand that there is real change, not just within the F&M, but as a prediction of what they can look forward to and what we call unstoppable change.
The perception is that the Free National Movement has had so much going on that it's overshadowed even the blunders, and perhaps a mild word, that the Davis administration is doing, that the government is doing, that you all have been so distracted with your own stuff that you've not sufficiently and with it an iron hand tackled what may be coming up wanting.
You got to get up very early in order to overshadow this disaster of an administration. They are an absolute disgrace. This is gangsterism.
Gangsterism.
In action, okay? What we see when you look at the blunders, the mistakes, but most importantly, the direction of sweet deals for the party faithful, you would have to get up very, very early in the Free National Movement and have a whole series of disastrous events. Understand that the Free National Movement is united behind our leader, Michael Pintard. There is a small group of individuals who would wish for somebody else to be at the helm.
Is that the Minnis group?
Well, that group and those that support that move. And so when you hear this loud noise, it's coming from a very small fraction. And I think now you can expect that to get even louder as the party has intimated that, hey, we are moving in a different direction. We would like you to come with us, but the public wants us to go in a different direction.
I see a number, particularly from the Kalani constituency, they're saying, man, listen, this man is served well, continues to do so, enjoys popularity or the majority support in the constituency. Was there no other way to do this in a more cleaner, more tasteful way than to say, excuse me, Doc?
You mean, could we have done it differently than Dr. Minnis did it when he was in the chair and when Michael Pintard was his chairman? And so if you recall back, I think in 2017, or in the lead up to the 2017 election, Michael Pintard was then chairman of the Free National Movement. Hubert Minnis was then the leader. And the same process that was used to deny a number of incumbent, very well performing members of parliament. I speak about Nico Grant, who I think is 5 times elected in Central Grand Bahama. An impeccable record, and yet denied a nomination. I speak of Richard Lightburn. I speak of a number of high performers. They went into a room, Michael Pintard as chairman here, Hubert Minnis there. The same process that was used then was used now. And so if you ask, should we have used a process differently than Dr. Minnis used? Then if it was good then, why not now? If it was good for the goose, why not be good for the gander?
Well, this is the thing. Does the FNM feel secure? Okay, it happened in 2017, as you said. Dr. Minnis went with a hatchet and did just what's been done to him to several others, as you mentioned just now. Does the FNM feel as though I think it's a different mood, a different appetite for people, that people, that cannibalism, that cannibalistic sort of FNM way that many people who sit here tell me, oh, Shanique, it's the FNM way, this is what we do. Do you really think that people have an appetite for that anymore?
I don't believe that people have an appetite for it. And if you look at what has happened over the last 2+ years, you would have seen time and time and time again offers of olive branches, seeking to find common ground. Let us figure out what unites us as opposed to what separates us. When you have individuals who do not participate in the process, it is very difficult to consider that they wish to be a part of the team. And so if you say that the Central Council of the Free National Movement is the place where most of the decisions are made, and you make one Central Council meeting in 4 years, then it suggests that you don't want to participate. If the Executive Committee of the Free National Movement is one of the highest decision-making bodies, and in 4 years you don't make a single Executive Committee meeting, then it means that you don't want to participate.
So Dr. Minnis pulled himself out of the game. Like he decided, based on his actions in the last 2 years, that, hey.
So there is no desire to disrupt. As a matter of fact, we say to all PLPs that are disaffected with this disastrous administration, to those independent voters, to those Free National Movement supporters who stayed home previously, time to come home. We have a country to save. We have people that want to be rescued from this cost of living crisis, from this crime crisis, from this cronyism, corruption, and gangsterism.
That's a heavy word, gangsterism. You said that now twice already.
This is gangsterism impersonated in an administration. So when you can have $183 million directed at a particular company, and then you get caught red-handed, IDB done involved, you've double-checked, triple-checked, quadruple-checked the books. All right? This thing has been moved along. You get caught, and then you say it's an administrative error.
Yeah, what do you make of that? What do you make of that term right there, administrative error?
Rubbish. It's absolute rubbish. When you can get caught having awarded $1 billion contract for the lease of the Exuma seabeds, and the Prime Minister signs off on it, a Deputy Communications Director in the Office of the Prime Minister is the witness. The principal of that company is a high-ranking member of the staff of the OPM. And then you can say, oh, well, I done kill that, and I ain't talking about it no more. That finish? That is gangsterism. That shows that this administration is more concerned about themselves and the interests of their people, so that they spend all of this money on themselves, whether they're talking about traveling, living large, but they can't find the money to keep more than 2 ambulances on the road as of yesterday. 2 ambulances in New Providence.
What is the issue there? Because I know somebody who continues to practice in medicine, former Minister of Health, Shadow Minister of Health. What is the issue there? I made an attempt yesterday to find out about the state of ambulance emergency response here on the capital, no doubt. What's happening there with the shortage?
When you spend money on everything else, but you cannot find the money to give PHA the ability to service and maintain vehicles, such that they can buy brake pads, so that they can put oil and filter changes in these vehicles, so that the staff are having to pay for it themselves and not get reimbursed. This is the same administration who has spent $58 million on travel around the world, living large, okay? But cannot find money for essential services to pay pharmaceutical companies so that your mommy could get her insulin, so that your daddy could get his drugs for high blood pressure, so that the major pharmaceutical companies have cut them off for not paying their bills. This administration, gangsters.
Do you know if there's been any fallout as a result of this ambulance shortage?
Well, of course. But now what happens is people throw mommy, daddy, auntie, granddaddy in the back of a car. They simply don't care. Accident emergency renovations started in 2019. They done spend hundreds of millions of dollars, $200 million on consultants, okay? Can't finish accident emergency at PMH. You ask the question, where's the new hospital in Grand Bahama? Where's the new airport in Grand Bahama? Where's the new airport in Long Island, Exuma, North Eleuthera? It doesn't exist. Why? Because the money ain't there. But all the sinking fund money gone. All right? The deficit, say, where you put more? Because they live in large. You could buy BMW. You could buy cars for all of the cabinet ministers. I understand, and we would ask, I think, when the communications director comes on, it is alleged that a certain cabinet minister spent some $7,000 on transportation at a meeting in the United States within the last month. The public would want to know, is that indeed true?
What would an F&M administration do differently? You mentioned initially about this administration spending, and when there is still an inflation crisis, there's still even access to food, food security, all the rest of it. What would the F&M do differently when it comes to easing the burden, when it comes to ensuring that ambulances are well serviced, that there are parts in place that workers don't have to put, as you said, their hands in their pockets and all? What would you do? What would your administration do differently?
Don't waste money. So this administration wasted a whole pile of money by not hedging on fuel, okay? So we will make sure that the most attractive or appealing hedge in fuel is maintained, notwithstanding the outrageous secret investment in energy infrastructure, the deals that have been done under the table. We still don't know what the details are.
Well, what do you make of the announcement yesterday about a new deal for BPL to bring relief energy deal to bring relief here in New Providence and Family Islands?
Bahamians are sick and tired of hearing about a little piece here, a little piece there. Tell us the whole story. Tell us the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. But you ask, a Pintard-led FNM administration will ensure that there is true transparency, that we will follow the law as it relates to getting bids for contracts, that you will not see an FNM administration give $400 million worth of no-bid contracts in, I think, a year. Mm-hmm. It is amazing that they don't even know, I believe, how to go out to tender anymore.
What does that suggest when you are going to give no-bid contracts, like the one that was revealed last week?
That you can take care of your people. And it's not just all the people, it's a select group of people. And hopefully, when the communications director is in front of you, he can explain why it is that even though the law says that there ought to be exceptional circumstances by which you go to no-bid contracts, why that is the norm for this administration. And then when you get caught, you say, oh, it was an administrative error.
Dr. Dwayne Sands, chairman of the Free National Movement tonight, going to task, quite frankly, on this administration's and its many habits, particularly the contracts that have been awarded out of the office of the Prime Minister and have come up questionable. The moorings contract and, of course, just now, this in the news right now, the no-bid $183 million contract for road paving in West Grand Bahama. When we come back, though, I'm gonna take him back because I have a couple questions. Is the FNM afraid of the COI? COI leader Lincoln Bain says you are. This is Beyond the Headlines. We're back right after this.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America is now City of Hope, creating one of the leading cancer care and research networks from coast to coast, providing more of what you need. More locations means more care closer to home. More specialists means more expertise. More research means more breakthroughs. More advancements means more treatment options. And more options means more hope. Call now to get more of the care you need.
Attention Bahamas! Get ready to link up in Eleuthera. Keep the Vibe Alive Music Group, Colette, Bahama Sin, and the Rock Sound Homecoming Committee present KB and Friends Boatman Show, April 18th and 19th in beautiful Rock Sound, Eleuthera. At the homecoming site, April 18th, experience the boatman himself, KB, Mama D, Colin McDonald, and the Falcons. April 19th, the vibes keep going with Ancient Man, Fan Sean, Teray Roll, Keisha, and the King of the South, Avi, with music by DJ Rad, Pop Style, DJ Lodge, and DJ Andy. Don't miss the Boatman Easter Weekend concert. Book your flights, rooms, and rentals now. For info, email keepthevibealive242@gmail.com. Telephone 558-3804. Don't miss the ultimate Boatman concert. See you in Eleuthera, April 18th and 19th. Keep the Vibe Alive Music Group presents the Legends of Rake and Spray. Get ready for the biggest names in Bahamian music live on stage. KB, Funky D, Chino D, D-Ma, Sweet Emily, Simeon Alton, Veronica Bishop, and more like the Singing Bishop. Mark your calendars for Saturday, May 10th at the Farm, Marshall Road. Gates open at 6 p.m. General admission 80, VIP 120. Tickets available at Missouri, Bungie Brand at the Beauty Shack, both locations. Skyboxes and Skypod. Call ESC Distributors at 394-0819. Or email keepthevibealive242@gmail.com. Saturday, May 10th, come by boat and play and experience the Legends of Rake and Scrape. Brought to you by Keep the Vibe Alive Music Group, ESC Distributors, Missouri, The Plug, The Beauty Shack, Bahama Sin, Bookie Brand, and Caribbean Wines and Spirits.
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
This segment of Beyond the Headlines is brought to you by the Legends of Rake and Scrape, May 10th at The Farm, Marshall Road.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. This evening, my special guest in the first segment and continuing in this segment is Dr. Dwayne Sands, the chairman of the Free National Movement. Dr. Sands, in the first segment, answered some questions of just where the Free National Movement stands right now. He says the party is united behind one leader, Michael Pintard, and was happy to shed some much necessary weight and distractions in the persons of Hiram Lewis, who was aware that he would not be getting a nomination. And of course, Dr. Hubert Minnis, that continues to kind of play out. Everybody's sort of waiting to see what Dr. Minnis does as a result, but we're not going to spend much time there. Let's just move this along. Recently on this show, I'm not sure if it was last week or the week before, Lincoln Bain, leader of the Coalition of Independence, appeared on the show, and he says, Shanique, what Michael Pintard should be really paying close attention to are the FNMs who are still in talks with the COI, who are expressing to the COI that they too want to walk the floor, cross the floor, and not to the PLP, but to the COI. Do you know who these people might be? Are these members of Parliament, Dr. Sands?
Lincoln is talking absolute rubbish. And I'll say it to him categorically. It is absolute rubbish. But Mr. Bain's proclivity is to say whatever comes into his head. So he'll promise the Bahamian people $100,000 a year, and we're gonna make sure that we get rid of everybody who doesn't speak true Bahamian. And he panders to some of the most crass, basic things. Now, that doesn't mean that we should dismiss or ignore either Lincoln Bain or the COI. But people also need to ask, who is Lincoln Bain?
Well, who is he?
Has he resolved his legal issues? Has he found a true ethical purpose or approach to life? And I think if those questions are asked, they'll recognize...
Dr. Sands, you just can't say that and then just kind of cover if those questions. What do you mean, has he found a true ethical...
Lincoln Bain and his ethical and legal challenges ought to be dissected by the Bahamian public, because who is this person, and is he the type of human being that we would want potentially involved in any form of leadership in this country?
Is this?
But that's a story for a different day.
I understand, of course.
I do need to correct the record a little bit.
Yes.
I made a comment about those persons that were denied a nomination after the 2017, and I think Nico Grant would have made it clear that he wasn't going to offer
again.
But the principle still remains that Michael Pintard and Hubert Minnis had a process by which persons were
Why are you trying to pay
advised.
Doc back for what happened almost 10 years ago?
No, not at all. I think what the Bahamian people want to see, they want to know, honestly, has the Free National Movement gotten the message that we were sent in 2021? The answer is yes. Are you truly going to be different? And most importantly, are you going to get us out of this nightmare called the New Day Davis-Cooper administration? And if they cannot see tangible evidence that the Free National Movement has pivoted, that we're not looking back, we're not interested in burning, we're interested in building a brighter future for Bahamians.
Well, first you would need to get the candidate selection process sorted out, because a number of people are saying, listen, man, the FNM again slipping and making mistakes here, because you've narrowed it down, I am told, but there are several people still looking at each constituency, and that's creating a bit of angst and just...
There's a tremendous amount of excitement, isn't there?
That's what it is?
Tremendous amount of excitement that people are looking to see who will be on this team. Will there be young people? Yes, there will. Will there be women? Yes, there will. Will there be progressive thinkers? Yes, there will. Are we going with a leader who is not a lawyer or even a doctor? Yes, we are.
Does that matter? Does it make
I
a difference?
I believe that, people didn't think a doctor could be a prime minister. And I believe that we proved otherwise. And now we have somebody who is going to expand the pool, because no single woman could born a prime minister. Eh? And so the other principle is that we believe in the concept of team. And so as we roll out our platform, as we roll out our candidates, we want Bahamian people to understand that we believe this is about a contract. This is about a contract for a brighter Bahamas, a brighter future. Can young people in the Bahamas believe that this economy will have something for them? Can they believe that they will have an opportunity to own a piece of the rock? That they can become entrepreneurs? Mm-hmm. That there will be expenditure of their own funds for their benefit? That this cost of living nightmare mm-hmm. that they have endured because of the tax and spend approach of this administration, that they'll get some relief. That VAT on bread basket items will be eliminated. That VAT on medication will be eliminated. That feminine products, that you won't have to pay VAT on that. It is shameful, the humiliation that this administration has forced the typical or average Bahamian to bear. And you know what the Prime Minister has done? Every time he hears about something, his response is, I didn't know that. When they had armed guards going into businesses to shake them down for mm-hmm. tax money, mm-hmm. I didn't know that was happening.
The Prime Minister responded that way?
He didn't know, okay? When this $183 million thing, deal, he didn't know, all right? This moorings deal, even though he signed it, okay? And somebody in his office witnessed it, and it was going to the benefit of somebody that worked for him. He didn't know nothing about that.
Well, what are you suggesting? What are you suggesting that is happening in the office of the Prime Minister? Are people working around him, or what are you saying?
I believe for the first time we have a distracted Prime Minister. I believe that he is trying his best to be a rock star on the international stage, and domestic concerns, the concerns of ordinary Bahamians, they are not important to him. He is more interested in living his best life, okay? Traveling, having a good time, trying to take down or eclipse Mia Motley. That is the problem. We have a distracted Prime Minister.
What do you want to say that is a competition with the Prime Minister of Barbados?
He's been missing in action. What I am saying, and I want to be very, very serious about this, that he has been so busy doing things elsewhere and out of town, on the road, okay? When you could go from a $500,000 budget and overspend it by 300%, so you got to spend $2.2 million in a fiscal year, it means that you gone, okay? You gone a lot. And so, yes, we have a distracted Prime Minister, and that's the reason why he could say, well, I didn't know about this, I didn't know about that. You go down the list. They said that they didn't know about this indictment in New York, right? Mm-hmm. We still don't know who the senior politician is who is said to be corrupt. Why wouldn't this administration just come out to the Bahamian people and tell us who it is? Mm-hmm. We don't really know. What do you know?
Well, we'll see. Dr. Sands, before this segment wraps, I want to ask you about where you're looking to run. It's being said that the F&M leadership, including yourself, is sort of just not doing things as usual. You're looking to maybe go other places where, and more F&M.
I think your mommy and you live in Elizabeth, eh?
And more F&M.
And I believe that you may have voted for me once. And so I may come knocking on your door again.
Oh, so don't listen to the word on the street is what you're saying.
I think what the Bahamian people should do is listen to me, listen to the leadership of the Free National Movement. When we decide where ratified candidates are placed, then it will all be announced at one time. And so stay tuned. You're going to know exactly where. But one thing you could say, that we are not afraid of a fight. We're going to take this fight to the Progressive Liberal Party. And we are going, by the grace of God and the support of the people of this country, and we are going to win.
Dr. Dwayne Sands, I tell you, you didn't come to play games tonight. I tell you that you need a little water, something. Justin, you all bring something here. Dr. Sands, thank you very much, Chairman of the Free National Movement. Really not addressing all of the issues. Any questions you all have for this Free National Movement Chairman? But thank you very much, Dr. Sands.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure, and I hope I didn't give Latrae Rahming too much stress to deal with today.
Listen, by the way, you know what's fantastic about tonight? Latrae Rahming is here, and he's going to sit right here next to me. He will have ample opportunity to respond because Dr. Sands you did some low blows there, some things.
Low? I told the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
That's it right there. Beyond the Headlines is backward after this. Stay close.
The internet isn't just for surfing. There's a sea of shoppers buying online, and you can connect with them on Tingsy. Tingsy is the SBDC's online storefront built for Bahamians. Take your business to the next level by selling to customers online, both at home and around the world. People want Bahamian things, and if you got things to sell, sell on Tingsy. Find out how you can connect with a sea of buyers by visiting tingsybahamas.com.
So my name is Dr. Sophia Roll. I'm the resident artist for the Via Hamea Art House and Gallery. This is not something that I've gone to school for, if you will. I'm a professor. I recently got into art in 2015 because it was something that I always wanted to do. I saw something about fluid art, the abstract expressionism of fluid art really drew me. And so I'm always thinking now about art. I see the world through art. So that is, for me, very, very gratifying, very, very satisfying. So receiving the Women's Initiative grant really impacted the business because it allowed me to see that I could have taken my craft, my art, outside of the gallery walls and really maximizing on some of the training, some of the skills that we learned. The advice that I would give to not only women, but anyone who's interested in starting a small business or starting a business is to just get started. You have to take the first step. And if you take the first step, you'd be amazed at how far you can continue to walk in that space.
For more information about how the SBDC can help your small business to make a big impact, give us a call at 461-7232 or visit sbdcbahamas.com.
7.5 years, but I walk in here all of a sudden, total stranger. I'm calling you Rick and Sheila like.
I win. At Island Lock, we take sports seriously. Get ready to experience the thrill of winning anytime and any place. Bet in real time and live the thrill of every play while watching your winnings stack up. It's your chance to score big with fast payouts and a world-class experience. Get in the game and bet the Bahamian way with Island Lock Sportsbook.
So you want a space. But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. It's good to have you all here this evening. Of course, as you heard me really promote from the top of the show, it really is a discussion and conversation with the sort of chief faces of both political organizations. My next guest, of course, is a face in this administration, a key face in the Davis administration, and we will meet him in a moment. But FNM Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands had a lot to say, made a lot of statements, and also really slammed the government for what he says is basically sort of sloppy management when it comes to awarding contracts and then having them be no-bid contracts awarded to various people. We're going to get to it right now. I want to give this guest ample opportunity to respond to all, if not much, of what was said in the last two segments. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines, the Communications Director in the Office of the Prime Minister, Latrae Rahming. Latrae, good evening to you. It's good to have you here. Listen, you came after that, so let's just jump right in. I'm sure you perhaps want to address something first, but maybe let's start with where you are primarily assigned and focused, the Office of the Prime Minister. Dr. Sands said that what's been happening there, the faux pas, the moorings deal, the $183 million road paving deal in West Grand Bahama, which turned out to be a no-bid contract, is unacceptable and should not be happening at that level. And he questions truly if it was an administrative error.
I think the chairman said a lot of talking points that his consultants gave him. I think that let's be clear on a number of fronts. The administrative error in which he referred to, I think he's confused. What the administration is saying is the publishing of the error of the contracts following the Prime Minister's decision is the error, not the preliminary steps. It should have not been published in the document because the Prime Minister made a determination to put the contract on pause. And the printing is the error. Right.
But you all weren't clear.
That was the error.
Right. So you weren't clear because you were saying before it even was printed or published, the Prime Minister already decided to shelve that for a moment until whatever.
I know that's very difficult, but let me be extremely clear.
So then who made the choice to go and print it, to have it published?
The government have its internal communication challenges, right? But let me be clear. The chairman of the FNM, who had the opportunity to serve in the cabinet, both as the Minister of Health, this was his words, not mine, that because of his relationship with the Prime Minister, then Prime Minister, Dr. Hubert Minnis, he believed that the Ministry of Health and the health sector in this country did not get the attention it needed. That means that the entire country suffered because of the strained relationship that both him and the former Prime Minister have. Now, my job as Director of Communication don't allow me to go some areas, right? But there is a public fact that the then Minister of Health had himself to be questioned about his involvement around granting a contract to a witness in a very high-profile matter. Now, none of that, then the public don't benefit from me revisiting old political facts. What the public do want to hear, they want to hear that this week, the Moody's rating agency.
Well, before we go there, because you kind of all over, because I have that, or I want you to.
I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure that he understands that there's no credibility. That the FNM have no credibility on some topics.
Well, you brought that up, and you're right. He mentioned that nothing was done because of the relationship when he was in cabinet with the former Prime Minister. But let's just talk about. Is there an ambulance shortage? What is the story? What's happening?
I mean, we've discussed this matter on numerous occasions, right? Last year, the minister was aware because he criticized the ambulance that was purchased. There was a number of ambulances that was purchased.
The Chinese ambulance or something.
The number of ambulances purchased. The minister knows that there's a procurement challenge. He was minister before. What I want to know, where's the ambulance that was donated during Hurricane Dorian? I mean, we could go there if you want to go there. But I think if we're
How many ambulances are working in Nassau tonight?
I am not in a position to accurately answer that. I don't get in the habit of making statements that I cannot verify. But I want to be able to say that he is acutely aware of the restraints and challenges and the fact that in the procurement area, that multiple countries are seeking to procure the exact same ambulance. Now, if you're going to have an argument, at least start from the basis that you're going to be factual and not disingenuous about the challenges that they're facing.
No, well, I'll give you that point because, in fact, thank you to the viewer who said, who nudged me during the break and say, Shanique, listen, the Ministry of Health, the Department of Health, Public Health, just the public health care system has been challenged for decades. It's nothing new. These issues have been lingering for decades.
And if you allow, I know you want to get some stuff about the government, right? You know, it was shocking listening to the chairman of the F&M for 30 minutes. He said nothing that his party would do differently. He offered no sound vision.
Didn't he say?
Not the little sound bite. I offered no sound.
No, but he said now they can travel less, they can redirect the money, and they can they can remove VAT off.
By the time we were in opposition, we had 1 year out. We had an economic plan. That same economic plan, 3 years into this administration, we're seeing the fruits, right? Now, I can give them this credit that they have to deal with their internal fighting, but if you are a Bahamian listening tonight, and you're listening to the chairman of the F&M, the number 2 in the F&M, you heard nothing about
so you're saying
the
he was
same old. I mean, it's opposition, but what people want 30 minutes in, you could put them 10 minutes in it, but 20 minutes. You want to have vision and difference.
That was not 30 minutes. He got 23 minutes.
No, I was watching my watch.
The show started late.
Okay,
the show started late.
My
Listen, I timed the two of y'all.
My apologies.
Listen to me, y'all. I know the season. I timed the two of them well.
But I know that if you are home tonight and the person who is trying to be the government, what you want to hear from them is what you will do differently. And your vision.
So you're saying, let me ask you about what he said, many things that he put forward. You were saying that you see an F&M whose chairman appeared before you, who came here with no real substance, particularly when it comes to plans on how they would move things forward.
Unchanged. Same players, same characters, same circus, unchanged. They would not. I mean, the best solution we got to BPL is the reestablishment of a hedge fund. It's the best solution we got to it. That's the closest the chairman came to a viable solution.
Well, let's talk, Latrae, about the fact that because people want to know, forget the chairman in this instance for a moment. People want to know, is the someone who went ahead and printed some information that again caused this administration to appear as though there's some issues going on within the office of the Prime Minister. Is there an investigation to find out who making these decisions above anybody else's head?
First of all, there are preliminary steps. And obviously, by the time the matter got to the Prime Minister, he reviewed the document at hand, and he made a decision to put it on hold. Right? We could litigate the internal communications of governments, and we could exhaust the issue on direct communication. I know sometimes that is not perfect, and we're not too big to admit when we got something wrong, even at that low level. I mean, we're not too big to admit that. But what we are saying is that the administrative error is on the printing of the document, not the decision in itself. So that let's just bring clarity to that.
Because as you said, the decision was already stayed and put on hold.
And what is controversial about the Prime Minister stopping a matter?
But there's nothing controversial about that.
What is controversial about that?
No, it's nothing. Nothing. In fact, it's good that he's going to say, "Wait a minute, how does Scott here?" No, that's good that he is questioning. It's just that whoever that is, just the same way that lady gone and signed something, whoever that is who gone and make the Prime Minister have to be in the hot seat tonight, then that person ought to obviously be held accountable. Latrae, let's talk about the Moody's ratings. The most recent rating. A number of financial analysts says it sort of positions the country to be able to now do some stuff to get a better rating in half a year to a year's time. How significant is that rating that sort of says, hey, carry on?
I think the Prime Minister, it's a vindication of the Prime Minister's effort to manage the economy. Obviously, the key focus now is we are entering a time of stability challenges because of global pressures and external shocks. So we are proud that for the first time in more than 20 years, the country has a positive perspective by the Modis. But the Prime Minister is not going to sit around and pat himself on the back. He's happy with the progress the country is making. He's acutely aware of the challenges that Bahamian families face. He's focused on energy reform. He understands how critical that is. We're happy that with the appointment of the new Commissioner of Police, there's bringing a level of stability and repairing trust in our institutions. So he's focused. And an unfocused Prime Minister cannot deliver on the kind of economic recovery.
What are you saying?
He said that the Prime Minister was unfocused.
I
know what an unfocused Prime Minister look at. That's the same one who they denied a nomination to. That's unfocused. And I know what an unfocused Minister of Health looked like, because if he was focused, he would have delivered on the things that he alleges that minister didn't allow him to do. So we know what unfocused looked like, but we know what focus looked like. Mm-hmm. Focus looked like economic growth, the lowest unemployment from 2008, increasing the minimum wage, the highest number of tourist arrivals. That's focus. And no matter how the FNM try to remix history, the statistics and the facts will never change. And it ain't us saying it, It's the persons who have the job to look at governments around the world and say, and agencies and companies say that, we're satisfied with the trajectory.
Let's talk about 9 days in. VAT was reduced in food stores from 10% to 5%. What are people saying on the ground that you were hearing that, listen, because the Prime Minister did say, hey, listen, hi, y'all, you re-elect me, this could even go lower, if not non-existent.
So let me just provide clarity in that.
Okay,
the Prime Minister never said that commentary. Obviously, I had a long conversation with the editor of the Tribune. That they decided to create a headline that gave the impression that the Prime Minister said, if you vote for me, this will continue. He never said that. He said because of the efforts of the government and the support of the Bahamian people, the government has been able to reduce the VAT to where it is today. We had a back and forth with the Tribune. The headline was not a correct description of it. I think that, yes, the 5% is assistance to Bahamian families. Of course, any dollar saved is better for families, but the government obviously know that it has to go additional measures. And I think one of the most vexing problems that we are focused on correcting is the issue of energy.
Yes, let's talk about energy. A lot has been said about that. Where does it stand? Where does the whole pike, the various, subsidiaries of that, then this new deal, energy deal that was signed yesterday, what does it mean? And when are we going to be able to sort of see even more tangible benefits?
So I think, the executive of Pike spoke to the press this week or last part of last week, indicated his enthusiasm for the project, that is going ahead. That's going to result in tremendous progress around the transmission and distribution. What we saw today was Bahamian companies being awarded contracts for microgrids and solar grids, so that the government is making an effort towards diversifying its energy mix. You're going to have LNG on one end, you're going to have solar on the other end. So we're reducing our dependency on oil, or crude oil, right? Now, you see the difference. I'm able to sit here and give tangible examples of what the government's doing.
So you have receipts for what it is this administration has done.
We're doing what
not reaching out pie in the sky.
We're doing what the FNM attempted to do. We've fixed the economy, restored the economy, we're pivoting to energy reform, right? And I think that is going to be where the true argument is. Do you want to hand this progress over to a group of individuals who are not ready for prime time? I shouldn't even be talking about this. That's direct communication. My apologies.
So you could tell me, Shanique, no, I won't answer this or not, but because we're going to get to the fact that this is the election. We know it, the election season. Two of on your team, the PLP's team, have stated they don't intend to offer again. When will the governing party have its official launch to officially get the wheels moving?
So I'm not as intimately involved on the political side of things. Obviously, two members of the government has indicated that their desire not to go ahead for personal reasons. Most certainly, I think the chairman of the PLP has indicated that the party is readying itself. But it's easy to be distracted by preparing for the election. We still have to govern. We still have to deliver on critical things for Bahamians. And as much as Bahamians like to go to the polls to vote, they want to see the government focusing on issues that matter the most to them.
What is the government focus? I mean, people say about a year and a half away from an election. What are some of the more pressing things that this administration know it must get done, tackle, or show the Bahamian people that at least they're paying attention to before we get really in the meat of things?
I think we'll be able to maintain a positive trajectory on the economy. Obviously, we have to be able to balance that against the external shocks that we are currently faced with. We have to be able to deal confidently with the issue of cost of living. Be able to finalize.
Do you think you're doing a good job with that? And with that alone, just cost of living?
I think we've made tremendous strides. I think there's always room for progress. I think a key part of that is energy. If you could reduce the cost of energy to families, that's going to be a critical component to grow. One of the reasons why the Modis has given the Bahamas a positive outlook is simply and primarily because they are encouraged by the government's taking on the issue of energy. That gives them confidence that businesses are able to invest, that they don't have to worry about the huge overcost of the cost of energy. I hope I didn't hit on Dwayne too hard, you know.
No, but you didn't. You see how Dwayne came here and came out with boxing gloves on. No, you didn't hit. I know that as communications director, you don't necessarily get into the politics of things, but I have to ask you about this. This is I've heard it around, floating about there. I don't know if you are aware, but I teased it at the top of tonight's show. Are you interested in pursuing further political, I guess, gaining further wings in the PLP in terms of the chairman position?
I think I'll let the political pundits be political pundits and speculate. I'm not going to add any more errors or rumors around the Prime Minister. I am grateful for the opportunity to serve as Director of Communication from 27 years old. I don't think that the Bahamian people, when they see me on Shanique's shows, have a particular interest in my political ambitions. They want to know what the government is doing in their name. And I intend to do that, and I'm not going to conflate that. And there is a chairman in the PLP. He has my respect and my confidence. And so right now, my focus is at this time, is to be the best I can as Director of Communication and serve to making my bosses, ultimately the Prime Minister, pleased in the work I do.
Latrae Rahming, I thank you very much. 22 minutes, Latrae, 22 minutes that you had this evening. I thank you very, very much. I wish I remember every single thing that Dwayne Sands said so that I can give you an opportunity to respond. But you both know exactly where I'm located. You know my address.
Yes.
And so certainly you're always welcome back here. I thank you very much for being here, addressing some things, because people really had some questions about that, the contract and the administrative error. What does that mean? And so thank you very much for coming by and stopping and addressing that. Thank you. And of course, I want to thank at the top of tonight's show, F&M Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands, also for being here this evening. And thank you to all of you this evening for tuning in. I certainly enjoyed having you along, and I look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow evening. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Make it a great evening, everyone.